Participation is highly encouraged. We start off super easy with lie, lie, lie. Everybody can just jump in and that would be fantastic. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 ya la lie, ya la lie, ya la lie, ya lie, 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 la lie, 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 lie. Same thing. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Ya la lie, ya la lie, ya la lie. Ya lie, 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 la lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la lie, lie, lie. Lie, lie, la lie, 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 lie. Ya la lie, ya la lie, ya la lie. Ya lie, 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 la lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie.
It is a joy to be joined by Cantor Hyman and Rabbi Friedman and our congregational president, Hank Bernstein, and by all of you online and all of you in the sanctuary, and to say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let's be sure to be among community. Please take this moment to introduce yourselves in the comments or turn around and find someone new here to greet.
No. Don't double on shofar.
We're so excited to be celebrating B'nai Mitzvah again now that summer is almost over. And this Shabbat, our congregation celebrates the bar mitzvah of Aiden Katz. We welcome Aiden with his parents, Jessica and Kevin, and his sister, Elizabeth, and wish you a mazel tov as we turn to page 2 to kindle our Shabbat lights.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Page 5.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר לציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
Earlier, I keyed in the wrong password on one of my sites, and instead of it saying try again or incorrect, it said forbidden in all caps with exclamation points. And I thought, you know, it wasn't that bad. It was just the wrong biblical citation, which is all of my passwords, of course, are citations from different verses from Torah. Yours too, right? Everyone does that, right? I'll never run out, so I'm in good shape. And as it flashed forbidden around this ridiculous moment, I thought, you know, I'm probably not the only one who encounters a little too much of an urgent tone many times a day or a week, perhaps more than it really merits. Now, we all have emergencies that are real emergencies in life or in work, but there are those moments when there's a little bit more urgency, a little bit more stress, a little bit more clenching that really needs to happen, then the situation really merits. And so as that flashed, I thought, well, this is a sign that we all need this sacred clench pause of Shabbat because we all get a little too much, perhaps, of that over the course of the day or a week. And shouldn't we spend some time unclenching together? And so we take a deep breath and release, turning from the noise of the week to the peace and the joy of Shabbat as we turn to the singing of Kabbalat Shabbat, page 17, Romamu.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. Adonai Eloheinu romemu, romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho.
With the joy of a wedding, we welcome Shabbat with Lecha Dodi, pages 20 and 21.
Lecha Dodi לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה.
Please rise.
בואי בשלום עצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Turning to page 28, we continue with our call to worship.
Lai 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 la lai lai la lai la lai 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 la lai lai la lai la lai 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. Lai 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 lai.
In the middle of page 31, together. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim.
Page 32.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ואהבת עולם. בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. As we lie down and as we rise up, this joy will last forever. as we lie down and as we rise up. This joy will last forever, forever. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata.
Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Page 36. Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת.
Page 39. Together, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, דורה תהילות אוסף אלה, דורה תהילות אוסף אלה. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Moses and the children crossed the sea to sing to you these songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha נהדר בקודש. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Page 46, please rise.
Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagit hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Turning to page 61, let us join together in our blessing for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Take these moments for silent prayer.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי. והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you. Adonai Tzuri, my rock and my redeemer. Ose shalom bimromav, u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen.
In a moment, we will be on the middle of page 253 for our Misha Berach, our blessing for healing. So there's a new booster to address the variants. Some good news. It may be just in time, perfectly, for the High Holy Days. So much in our lives is out of our hands. The best we have is to take care of ourselves with what medicine can offer and to strengthen each other with sacred community connection and with prayer. If you or someone you love is in need of healing, mind, body, or spirit, please add that name to the comments or speak it aloud now.
Mi sheberach avoteinu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Our thoughts now move to thoughts of celebration and gratitude as we prepare to sing our blessing of gratitude, Shehechianu, which thanks God for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this moment in time. And I hope it is a wonderful occasion for many of you, and that you can all find at least one thing to celebrate this week or maybe coming up. And we'd love it if folks want to share with us. And feel free, if you're on the live stream, to write something in the chat. Tell us what's going on in your lives. What are we celebrating? Aiden, are you... Anything going on tomorrow? Mazel tov to Aiden and his whole family, as you will be called to the Torah tomorrow as a bar mitzvah. We are so excited. What else? Karen? Oh, wonderful. You share birthday with your grandson. I love that. Happy birthday to you both. Yom Huledet Sameach, as we say in Hebrew. Anyone else? What else? Stephanie? Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Yeah, that your nephew will get his transplant. Oh, that's really wonderful. Ben Sion, great to have you back. We've missed you. That is a Shehechianu. Oh, Ben Sion, we are so happy to have you back. You bring so much joy to this community. We know you'll be dancing the hora with us very soon. We can't wait. Oh, wonderful. Well, we have one more very exciting thing that we are celebrating. You might have noticed this summer, I feel like we've been making new Jews every single week. We're on a roll. It's been pretty amazing. I think it's incredible that people willingly want to commit themselves to the Jew. It shouldn't be that amazing. I love Judaism, right? Not that surprising, but it really is. Of course, it's such a joy that we have so many in our community that have really fallen in love with Judaism and have come to be a part of our congregation. And so we celebrate one more. I'll say we get 1.5 with this one, as we welcome Lauren Newman to come up and join us on the bima as we open the Ark. And I say 1.5, of course, because, please rise, because Lauren is expecting, and so we'll get another Jew there too. And it's so wonderful that Lauren is here, supported by her husband, Jeff, and her mother-in-law, Jessica, who has been, I know, such a wonderful role model and guide on this Jewish journey and really welcomed her into Judaism. Come on all the way up. Lauren was in our Introduction to Judaism class, although this was your 3rd Introduction to Judaism class, and not because you failed or anything, just because you wanted to learn so much. You even said, actually, one of the things you said in the Beit Din that I want to share, because I love this, when Rabbi Mader asked you, you took a lot of classes, you said, I wanted to get different perspectives. Everyone in Judaism comes at it from a different lens. And that's such a beautiful idea that we all bring our own Torah to this community, and we all bring a different lens to that. And so thank you for teaching us that. Lauren, you stand before the open ark and before the commanding presence of the Torah, the Jewish people's most cherished treasure. It has led us on the way and guided us ever since we received it at Sinai. I will place the Torah into your arms as you take it into your heart. Got it okay? You are known by the name Lauren, which means you're always linked in love to those who gave you life. And from this time forth, you shall be known within our Jewish community as Rachav bat Avraham v'Sara. And we talked about this beautiful name, which many people probably won't know is a sort of minor character in the Torah, in the book of Joshua, a woman, an innkeeper, as she's known, innkeeper, we can go with that one, who really is a very powerful, strong woman and had an incredible amount of faith, but also at a time when we know there was a lot of misogyny and men and women weren't equal, used what little agency she had to try to do God's work in this world. And what a beautiful role model she is and is to all of us. May this name bring respect and honor to the Jewish people. We rejoice to welcome into our midst one who willingly and devotedly helps replenish the ranks of our people. As we have done throughout the ages, I ask God's blessing upon you now in these ancient words. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of God's presence shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. May God's presence be with you always and grant you the most precious gift, the gift of peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. And let us all say, Amen. To mark this moment and the beautiful moments in all of our lives, we join together in gratitude with Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kiyemanu v'higi'anu lazman hazeh Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kiyemanu v'higi'anu lazman hazeh.
Mazel tov, yeah. Please be seated. Yeah. Have any of you seen the show Undercover Boss? It's on CBS, yeah? All right, a few. We got a few guilty pleasure reality TV people. All right, excellent. So for those that haven't, it's a reality TV show that follows high-level executives as they slip anonymously into the rank and file of their organization. Each week, a different leader will sacrifice the comfort of their corner office for an undercover mission to examine the inner workings of their operation. At the end of each episode, there's the big reveal where the boss and the workers sit down in front of the camera and they have an honest, well, at least as honest as reality TV is, they have an honest conversation about their roles, the business, their hopes and dreams. What I appreciate most about this show is that the average employee who would never have a chance to speak with upper management gets this rare opportunity to voice their opinions, and ultimately, they feel seen, they feel heard. While the show Undercover Boss is only about 10 years old, this trope of a powerful figure disguised among us is not new. Think about Mark Twain's famous story, The Prince and the Pauper, or in many of Shakespeare's plays, like King Lear or Henry V, we see royalty that has disguised themselves as commoners. Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, one of the founders of Hasidic Judaism, offers a similar metaphor from Jewish tradition. He speaks about a kingdom where the king's usual place is in the capital city, in the royal palace. Anyone wishing to approach the king must go through the appropriate channels in the palace bureaucracy and gain the approval of a succession of secretaries and ministers. They must journey to the capital, pass through many gates and corridors and antechambers that lead to the throne room. Their presentation must be meticulously prepared, and they must adhere to all the codes of dress, speech, and mannerisms upon entering the royal presence. Shneur Zalman continues and says that there are times, however, when the king leaves the field, when the king leaves the palace and comes out to the fields outside the city. At such times, anyone can approach the king. The king receives them with a smiling face and a radiant countenance. The peasant behind his plow has access to the king in a manner unavailable to the highest-ranking ministers in the royal court. The month of Elul is when the king is in the field. What a powerful metaphor. The king is in the field. God is in the field. God is near to us. God is accessible to all of us. And the month of Elul is the perfect time for us to open ourselves up to a relationship with God. The 4 letters of the Hebrew month, Elul, that we are in now, leading up to the High Holy Days, Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Lamed, are said to be an acronym for a phrase from Song of Songs, Ani lidodi v'dodi li, a phrase maybe many of us are familiar with from the Jewish wedding. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. I'm seeing some couples here doing a little snuggling. Yeah, you guys said that at your wedding? Yeah, anyone else? All right. Well, here, in the context of Elul, we think of it less about the relationship and love between 2 people and more about our relationship to God, using that same metaphor as a spouse or as an important friend. In Jewish theology, we often think about our relationships with God using 2 opposing words, transcendent and immanent. Transcendent is the image of God in that palace, that image that Shneur Zalman begins with, unknowable, beyond human comprehension, a God removed from this world that we might only glimpse in moments of awe and wonder. In the theology of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, this transcendent God is what he calls radical amazement, that the intense insignificance that we might feel looking up at the night sky and imagining our tiny place in the vast universe. Prayer, according to Heschel, is our humble answer to that very inconceivable notion of just being. During much of the year, this is the way we relate to God, a power, a force, something beyond our understanding, a distant presence that may not be part of our everyday life. On Shabbat, our sages teach we taste the world to come. We taste the world as it should be. We rest, we reflect, we reconnect with family, and we seek to be in relationship with others and with God. When we come to pray together on Shabbat, Shneur Zalman teaches that Shabbat, using the same metaphor, is when the farmer is invited to the palace. It's when all of us are elevated, when we go to that palace. On Shabbat, the farmer's overalls are replaced with beautiful clothing. His vocabulary is polished and his manners refined. His fingernails and soles are cleansed of the residue of material life. On Shabbat, the farmer is whisked from the hinterland to the capital and ushered into the throne room. But during the month of Elul, the king is in the field. During the month of Elul, our sages teach it is helpful to look more at those images of God's immanence. Elul asks us to think of God perhaps more like Martin Buber, who in his dialectic theology saw God as the energy between 2 people when they truly connect with one another. During the month of Elul, God is among us. God is in our relationships. The king is in the field. The boss is out of the corner office and on the factory floor. And think, if you could speak freely with your whole mind, whatever you wanted to say to your boss, what would you say? What would you ask? What would you want them to better understand about you? During Elul, as we prepare for the High Holy Days, we are tasked with asking these very questions of ourselves and of God. Elul is an invitation to open ourselves up to different conceptions of God, an invitation to read, to learn more about Jewish theology and the many sages, theologians, and thinkers throughout Jewish history who have conceptualized God in different ways and given us different metaphors by which to understand the divine in our own lives. Elul is an invitation for each of us to develop our own personal theology. Why? Well, we spend so much of our lives nurturing our physical bodies. We make sure to exercise and eat right. And we spend so much of our lives nurturing our minds, learning, exposing ourselves to new ideas through art and music and conversation. But often, we don't invest as much in our spiritual development. Why accept the invitation to meet God in the field? Because having a personal theology, having a relationship, an intimate sense of who God is to you, can be profoundly helpful in life. It helps us in times of struggle. It gives us strength. It gives us perspective. It gives us gratitude. It gives us connection to others, to ourselves, to the greater world, and ultimately to a sense of something greater than ourselves. During Elul, we have set aside time for individuals, families, and friends to come to our sanctuary, to have a moment in front of the open ark, to have a moment of reflection, to have a moment with God, however you define God. Access to the divine is not limited, of course, to our sacred space. We can find that personal theology anywhere, on a hike, in a warm embrace, at the art museum. But there's something special about this space. Its history, its memories, the weight of our ark and Torah that allow for God's presence to suffuse our spirits in a different way. During Elul and on Yom Kippur, we read from Parshat Nitzavim in Deuteronomy 30, where we read the famous words, Lo bashamayim hi, the Torah is not in heaven. It continues, no, it is near to you. It is in your mouth. It is in your heart that you might do it. God is not in heaven. God is in the field. God is near to us in our hearts so that we might have a relationship with the divine. This Elul, let us proclaim, the King is in the field. God is here, not in some far-off place, and the invitation is here for all of us to engage in a richer, more meaningful relationship with the divine. It's up to us to accept it. Shabbat Shalom. Turning to pages 282 and then 287, we continue with Aleinu. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This week, our congregation observes yahrzeit for Charles Kaiser Allman Abraham Backrack, Charles M. Barlow, Jerome Bass, Dora S. Beckman, Martin M. Berger, Frank Berman, Pearl Bayer, Lillian Braveman, Joseph Brosco, Matilda Bergauer, Connie Seisler, Marvin Cherney, Edith Kreskoff, Robert Dinkin, Joseph L. Ehrenreich, E. Theodore Ehrlich, Eveline Einstein, Abram R. Finkel, Edwin Fisher, Morris Fleischer, Rebecca Fleischer, Beverly Fleissig, Maurice Fliegelman, Mayor Frank, Hortense Henau Freund, Elaine Garfinkel, William Gertzley III, Emma N. Goldbaum, Seymour Golden, Sadie Reba Goldman, Elliot J. Goldman, Jenny Whitehill Greenberg, Beulah D. Hammerschlag, Sadie Hassler, Gertrude Honig, Miriam Deborah Jacoby, Martin Johnson, Victor Lawrence Johnson, Bernice Cagle, Goldie Kahn, Sylvia Katz, Anna Kellum, Suzanne Kessler, Pauline Kleinbard, Rosalind Kogan, Ruth B. Bernstein Krasnoff, Carolina Koo, Max Landau, Shirley Levin, Meredith Levithan, Ida M. Lewis, Benjamin Lieberman, Ferdinand Loeb, Ethel Lotwin, Ethel Lubert, Albert Lyman, Marcy Mann, Rosa Stein Miller, Charles Moser, Henry H. Netter II, Morton F. New, Blair Stevens Newton, Fanny R. Nitzberg, Irene Pressmont Pagel, Samuel M. Paley, Julie Paley, Leon A. Paris, Arthur B. Putzel, Hannah D. Rosenbaum, Stuart Rosenblum, David H. Rosenbluth, Arnold M. Rosenfield, Hermine Rosenthal, Harry N. Sachs, Beatrice Lavore-Selesky, Laura Liebman-Serlin, Bernice Sharp, Ricky Marla Sharp, Jean Simon, Fredine Skoronik, Molly Teplick, Asher Jacob Wallerstein, Ellen Weiler, Reba C. Weiner, Randy Weinstock, Ray Wexelblatt, Bruce Winthrop, Mark W. Waldo, Sarah R. Wolf, Estelle Wolf, Clara G. Zamachnik. We add the names of those who have been taken from our midst, but not from our hearts in these most recent days, for whom we are observing Shaloshim, the 30 days of mourning. Joel Eichen, Joyce Neff, Robert Phil Schmidt. If you are observing Yartzeit or Shaloshim for a loved one whose name was not mentioned, I invite you to write their names in the chat or to speak their names aloud at this time. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. We turn to page 294 and rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyamechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace and comfort to all who are bereaved among us, and let us say, Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
We wish you a Shabbat Shalom. We are so looking forward to our community Shabbat dinner next Friday, September 9th. We need you. We need you all to come. But also, if you are an RS member, we would love it and really appreciate it if you would be willing to reach out and invite a prospective member to meet up with you for Shabbat services and come to dinner next week. Please let Noah Levine know. He can help you with that. And if you're new to RS, we hope that you'll introduce yourself to the wonderful Noah, who's right back there ready to help greet you. As is our custom during the month of Elul, leading up to the holidays, we will conclude with the words from Psalm 27, Achat Sha'alti, which you can find in your service program on page 4, followed by a shofar blast to wake us up.
Wake up. Your slumbers. Achat sha'alti beveit Adonai. Achat sha'alti ota avakesh. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai. Achat sha'alti ota avakesh. Shivti, shivti, beveit Adonai. Shivti, shivti, kol yemei chayai. Shivti, shivti, beveit Adonai. Shivti, shivti, kol yemei chayai. Lachazot b'noam Adonai, ulevaker behachalot. Lachazot b'noam Adonai, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai. Achat sha'alti beveit Adonai. Achat sha'alti ota avakesh. Achat sha'alti beveit Adonai. Achat sha'alti ota avakesh.
Tekiah. As we conclude, I will offer one challenge to the psalmist who says, "One thing I ask of Adonai, only that do I seek, to live in the house of Adonai." And I would say to the psalmist, we don't need to travel all the way to God's house because God is already here. God is in the field among us.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless us and keep us.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine upon us, and may God be gracious unto us.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May we feel God's presence within us always, and may we find peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.